What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I want to discuss why you keep picking the wrong women here in Medellin, Colombia, or just in general in Colombia, but some of this stuff may even apply to in general, not only here. I did write some stuff down, so I'm going to be referring to my computer screen here for the notes I did jot down, but without further ado, let's just get into it. Also, I want to apologize ahead of time because I do have some allergies going on today, so excuse my sniffling. So, starting off with number one, that is going to be men fail to realize high stimulus behavior in women. And what I mean by this is women who are just constantly seeking attention and validation through online, or this may be in general, or women who constantly need to do high stimulus things like go to a club. They need to be traveling all the time or always at a fancy restaurant. These are examples of what I mean by high stimulus behavior. Now, one of the things you will see, which is almost kind of like a baseline red flag for a lot of women to start off with here in Medellin, or in Colombia in general, is you'll see a lot of women doing the whole selfie story video thing to kind of garner attention from, generally the guys that are following them. Anyone's lying if they say that they're not just posting those selfie videos for themselves or for other, you know, their friends that are following them. But this is a major reason why a lot of guys keep picking the wrong women, especially here in Medellin, because they are failing to realize or spot out these women that have these tendencies or behaviors of just constantly needing high stimulus behavior. Now, also, the other thing would be high stimulus traits that include the constant need for attention, validation, on social media or nightlife or whatever. So I kind of touched on that already in the first part of what I was talking about. Basically these women having some type of dependency for this type of thing. Um, Second, here I'm going to say there's an emphasis that stimulus levels is more. Um, how do I want to explain this? That um, girls that need a lot of stimulus or have these tendencies tend to be women that have a lot of body count, and I want to explain because okay, so if a woman is going out to nightclubs all the time, she's more than likely getting approached by a lot of guys. If she's constantly out at restaurants, generally she's at dates because, if they're out with family, they're going to post their family or friends in that Instagram story. When they're out by themselves, of course, all you see is a picture of the food and of the restaurant or the location, and that's it. So, you not being able to correlate these things can lead to you, picking the wrong woman, especially here in Medellin, Colombia. Now, the second thing is going to be why you keep picking the wrong woman is because you have weak boundaries and or easily acceptable to manipulation. You are very gullible. You can't tell what's real, what's fake when somebody's running game on you. Now, I'm assuming a lot of you guys are street smart. You or have some knowledge to you, so you should be able to pick this out for the most part. But some of the best are here in Medellin and or in Colombia. So not saying women can't run game on you or we all don't fall for something here or there, but nevertheless, if you are super gullible, this is going to lead to you picking the wrong women here in Medellin, or like I said, just in Colombia in general. Secondly, it's just going to be weak boundaries. Here in Colombia, it is a very macho, very, alpha kind of very dominant. And of course, you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, it's very sexist, it's very machismo, or, it's very just, very male driven. It's kind of what I say goes type of thing. And if you don't have that mentality, if you come out here soft, if you come out here, kind of trying to be a people pleaser, you are going to get ran in circles by the women here, and this is going to lead to you picking the wrong women. Now, another thing that I've written down here is, of course, women often behave differently for depending on the man's boundaries and attractiveness. So if you are a guy who is just not taking care of yourself, and you you aren't kind of on your game and on your shit, then of course that's going to lead to you picking the wrong type of women here. Now, the next thing I want to go into here is the lack of abundance, and that is going to definitely 100% lead to you picking the wrong type of women here. This is a country of abundance, and a lot of the men here have that mentality. One, just because there are so many options here, and generally most men have multiple girls that they're dealing with here, not only foreigners but Colombians as well. So you need to have an abundance mentality, and it shouldn't be very difficult for you here in Colombia. Now, the reason why this leads to you picking the wrong girl is because for a lot of guys, and I'm pretty sure you guys have heard this, you don't fall for the first girl you see. You don't jump into a relationship with the first, second, or third girl that you meet. You date, you get some experience, you date a few girls, and in my opinion, this may be controversial. Even if you are in a relationship, you should still be talking and, flirting with other women, because you want to, one, keep that skill up of having game, but two, it still keeps you in that abundant mindset. Like, hey, I can go get another one, at any time or easily, versus you don't do anything and then you kind of just get rusty and, you get comfortable and, you don't want to lose what you have. So I just think always you should have this abundant mentality. Now, I'm not saying cheat, if you're if you're not that type of guy. If you're not that type of guy who, wants to have a roster or whatever, then I'm not saying cheat, but I am saying you should still be flirting and talking and spitting game at other women just to keep the practice up. I always say, like, game is like, a muscle. And if you are not constantly working it out, you're going to lose it, or you're going to get rusty, and once you get back out there that first time, it's really hard to get the start back. So you always want to be working that muscle out. So that is what I would say is probably going to be the main reason. And unfortunately, a lot of you guys that are coming out here, now I'm not saying, guys couldn't get women in the States, because I think almost every guy could get women in the States or whatever country they came from. That isn't the issue of why guys are coming here, because it's a lack of, or inability to be able to get women in the United States. It's the, dealing with the attitudes and the high standards is what guys are trying to avoid. But, if you are coming here and you don't have that abundance mentality, is definitely going to lead to you picking the wrong woman. Now, the last thing I have here is what kind of will keep you picking the wrong woman is going to be relying solely on dating apps. You're not going out and meeting women in person. You're not, meeting women through Instagram or social circles or in some type of social group or out and dance. You're just purely relying on dating apps now, or dating websites, whether that's Colombian Cupid, whatever they are. I've even met some guys who are meeting girls through, seeking arrangements and stuff like that out here. So if you're purely depending on those type of, how to say it, if you're depending on strictly just those type of resources to meet women, then it's going to constantly lead to you picking the wrong women. And most of the guys I've seen that have met women those ways, only those ways, generally those relationships don't work out for whatever reasons. Now, secondly, I want to say this as well, because I need to say this because there's a lot of guys, and I'm going to make a whole nother video about this. But it's if you are choosing to get into a relationship with professional 304s. I've seen a lot of guys do that. They're trying to turn, hoe into a housewife. And for some reason, in the States, these guys would not even fathom dating a girl who did OF, or at least they say they won't. Everybody says it's one thing in person and does another thing behind closed doors. But, everyone says, oh, I wouldn't date a girl who does OnlyFans. I would never date a girl who's a professional 304 or whatever. And then, I've met many guys here in Colombia that that's the first thing they do is they end up getting into a relationship with the girl that they know knowingly, not that the girl finessed them, lied about it, is an undercover 304. They know that she's a 304 and they got into a relationship with her. Now, like I said, I'm not knocking anybody who does this. It's your life. You do what you do. If you like it, I love it. I'm just saying, generally, these type of women, their brain chemistry is completely messed up from all the guys that they've been sleeping with. Like, it's been rewired and rearranged to how they view men and everything. Now, don't get me wrong, they're probably going to be more fun. And, a lot of guys, from what I've seen, that don't speak good Spanish, they are going to settle for these women because they maybe speak okay English or they speak good English. So out of them not wanting to learn Spanish or, to be able to communicate better, they just, oh, okay, I'm going to go for this because it's something easy. So that's going to constantly lead to you picking the wrong woman if you are dating, those type of women, especially the 304s. So, well, I would say that that's pretty much it. Those are the main things I have on why you keep picking the wrong woman here in, Medellin, Colombia, or Colombia in general. And to be honest with you, a lot of this stuff I'm saying applies to in general. It doesn't even apply to just Colombia. But I will say, especially here in Medellin, if you are doing these things that I listed, those are going to lead to you picking the wrong woman. Now, that is it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. I just wanted to make this video real quick. It was something on my mind, and I wanted to get this out before I actually go meet one of my subscribers for lunch. I had a subscriber who was in town and wanted to link up, so I want to do that, meet up with him. So that's it for the video. I appreciate you guys watching, and until the next one. And guys, remember to travel, but travel safe.